Today's season preview, the Edmonton Oilers. We will be breaking down which players are fantasy relevant, which ones are due for a breakout, which ones to stay away from, and more importantly, how will the Babcock era turn out in Edmonton? But before all that, let me remind you to follow us on our social media platforms. On X, TikTok, and Instagram, we are at Partial Break Pod. Like and subscribe on YouTube and leave us a review. But more importantly, let us know what your prediction is for the Edmonton Oilers this year and join in on the discussion.
The Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 181 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied by co-host Nick and producer Vince. Another team preview, the Edmonton Oilers, guys. How are we feeling?
Energetic.
About damn time.
Energetic.
Bring some energy.
This is can we say a top heavy team that we're going to be talking about?
This is the most stars we've had on a team preview so far. I can tell you that much.
Double D's?
Whoa.
All right.
And they already went off topic. Oh.
No, it's not off topic. You're just thinking with the wrong head. All right, guys. Offseason recap. Let's get at it. This team, how did they do last season? Well, the Edmonton Oilers did something, but first...
This team preview is brought to you by Sportira at sportira.apparel on Instagram, as well as ANC Photo Boots at ANC Photo Boots on Instagram as well, and Patisserie Italia at Patisserie Italia on Instagram. Give them a follow. They supported us, so we're going to share the love and have you support them as well.
All right, let's talk about the offseason moves that this team did, because it's been a few of them that might make a really big impact. So... coaching change. First and foremost, Mike Babcock has been hired to be the coach of the Edmonton Oilers. It's coming with a lot of criticism.
Controversial.
Quite controversial. However, at the same time, McDavid doesn't care. He seems to be backing it. So
They wanted him. Draisaitl, Hyman, the core wanted Babcock.
Well,
They went to get him.
Yeah, they wanted a coach that had a backbone, basically, that would bring in the law and not players making the law, from what we're saying.
They wanted someone who will hold them, the stars, accountable. I don't know what they have to be accountable for, but
they've
been doing their
he's
job.
going to be looking at their phones and looking at pictures of them
And their
going out
families.
or whatever and their families. But I digress. Who's out? Jack Roslovich is out. Daniel Nurse is out. Connor Ingram is out. Who's in? Ryan Shea, formerly of the Pittsburgh Penguins, is in, and Frederik Andersen, Stanley Cup winning goaltender. Frederik Andersen. As well, we should add Devon Levi, because Levi's jeans are actually quite comfortable. But here we have a three-headed monster in goal, maybe. Devon Levi is going to have a opportunity, I think, to make a difference for this team, because goaltending was one of their weakest points.
Not much of a scary monster, though.
Well, yeah, three-headed monster. I see what you're saying there. Let's get into it a little bit more here and see how they did last year before all these changes. So the team last year had a record of 41, 30, and 11. That was 14th in the14th in the NHL. Goals for, they were 60th in the NHL with 282. Goals against, they were 25th with 265 goals against. That's not so good. Not so good. Power play, they were the best in the league.
No kidding.
30% on the power play. And 20th in penalty kill with 77.8%. I mean, can we say at least addition by subtraction? You got rid of Nurse. Got rid of some other, I guess, players. Connor Ingram, Roslovich.
I think this team is still based on a very top-heavy offensive duo in McDavid and Draisaitl. Defensively, I don't know. Does Wallman, Murphy, Shea? Oh man, really? This
Oh,
name?
guys, yeah, that's another guy they added. Shakir Mukmadulin. It was part of the
Oh, that
nurse
was part of
trade.
the trade.
Yeah.
So like, I think one of these can do what Nurse was doing last year,
Well, I mean, Mokra Madulin is getting paid 1.75 million, and he's pretty much the same size as Daniel Nurse,
technically,
Darnell.
right? Darnell, sorry.
Technically,
Did I say Daniel?
Yeah,
Daniel.
sounded like that.
I was thinking about Daniel Jones.
if you take Murphy's contract, Shea contract, and Mukabdulin contract, it basically comes out to Nurse's contract of $9 million. So
Yeah, I mean, that's some pretty quick math there.
papier,
if you look at
papier,
that.
huh?
The producer with some quick math. Yeah, let's go into some tiers here and see like who out of this team is fantasy relevant, because I don't think any of the three players that you mentioned there are actually fantasy relevant in most leagues. Maybe Murphy in category leagues for his blocks, but I'm really like pushing it there by trying to find some relevance. Who is the big stars in this team? So let's start off with our tiers. Our fantasy star tier is point per game or higher. The next tier is reliable starters, and that's anybody from between 70-ish to 80 points. And then we have our supporting cast tier 3, which is 50 to 60 points. And then streamers, pretty much anybody else. And then players to avoid. So the fantasy star, this obviously we could have just split this into guys that you're drafted in the first round or second round, the latest, in a redraft league. You have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Evan Bouchard. I'm going to point to yourself first. If we are taking his salary into account, and if we're kind of looking at the, I'm not going to say what we called it, but the PB index for cap leagues, should McDavid still be your number 1 or number 2 pick overall in leagues, cap leagues?
Yes, no matter what, because the amount he produces. Now, if you go look at the details of of our formulas, and it'll show you that McDavid is not the best bang for buck because of all the amazing contracts that are out there. But I think as a GM, someone who's in fantasy hockey, you need to understand that the elite players are the elite players. You draft them, and after that first tier, that's when you could plug and play what we would offer on our cap index product, if you want to call it that.
Well,
so
it's still a work in
McDavid,
progress, so there's going to be some tweaking done on that.
yeah, and then I mean, he's only got 2 years left. He's probably going to skyrocket to 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's still just as valuable at 20 million.
Absolutely.
But, yeah. So no, McDavid for sure.
McDavid, you give him a blank check and you say you want 20% of the cap, you want 30% of the cap. I mean, what's the limit that you're allowed to do? I think it's 20%, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it's
or,
20% now. Yeah.
close to that. So, I mean, out of these three players, we spoke a little bit about McDavid. We're kind of saying that, hey, he's going to put up, 140 points again or something close to that. Unlike the 170 that you predicted last year in your bold takes segment.
So I was close. I was only about 30 points off, which with the 2 extra games this year, he could get even closer because they're going to be playing 84 games.
You were how many points off?
30 points. 140, 170, 30 points.
32 points, but sure.
Okay. Yeah, but like Leon Draisaitl, 65 games, 97 points. I mean, the thing
That's on pace for 97.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with
On pace for 122.
Yeah, 122.
He
got 97.
He
That
got
was
97.
in
Sorry.
65 games.
In 65 games, 122. So he's like right there with McDavid.
Yeah, exactly. That's why these guys and Evan Bouchard as a defenseman to get 95 points. That's just bonkers. That's Makar type numbers. So these three guys are, like you guys said it, they're their draft in the first or beginning of second round. Like these guys don't go past.
I think Draisaitl and McDavid is first 5 picks, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'd be nice to actually talk about who else would be up there. But Evan Bouchard, not much later, or maybe later in the first round, early second round
for sure.
But he could be the first or second defenseman off the board, right?
21 goals last year.
Yeah.
He's a double-digit scorer. The last 3 years, 21 goals, 14 goals, 18 goals. Goals are more valuable than assists. And some leagues even have an additional increase in points, like a boost in points for points from defensemen.
Right.
So,
And on the power play too, these guys are all playing 1 minute and 59 seconds.
87% of the power play, Bouchard.
These 3 guys are going to be on the power play. There's extra points in the power play. They're getting it.
Okay, so I have a debate about the second part here. So tier 2 reliable starters. We've put Zach Hyman into this tier. Vince,
Yeah.
why would Zach Hyman be a reliable starter? Is he really a 70 to 80 point player? Is he somebody that you're drafting this year because you're projecting him to become something special? Or is he's always shown that he's special?
He's always shown he can keep up with McDavid. He's always shown that he can...
Not in foot speed.
No, not in foot speed, but he's always shown that he can be at the right spot in the right place with McDavid. So, like last year, he was pacing for 74 points. He only played 58 games. Still got 31 goals in 58 games. So he goes to the dirty areas where the McDavids and Draisaitl's, the Nuges won't go. So I think if he could stay healthy, the problem is he is 34 years old. So we all know as we get older, we don't recover as much. We don't recover as quickly. We lose a bit of foot speed. But
Speak for yourself.
yeah, but this team is so dependent on Hyman to produce that if he doesn't, this team could be in trouble.
Yeah, so, 30 goal scorer. That's pretty much what we're talking about here, right?
And I think that's the reason, even though he might not be a 70-point player, but because he can score 30 goals and they're usually worth more, he can be considered a reliable starter.
And you're not worried about injury history and his age.
Injury history, 58 games, and last year, the year before, 73. Like he's played 75 plus games almost the last 4 out of the 5 years. So I'm not too worried about injury, but age, yes. But he's playing with McDavid. Last year, even though he was 34 years old, he still had 85% of the power play.
Was he with Toronto in the Babcock era? He was.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
he familiar with the coach also.
Yeah, quite a bit younger though.
Yeah.
than he is now. But
All right. Well, talking about somebody that's not that much younger anymore, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is considered tier 3 supporting cast. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a player that could get you between 50 and 60 points, but maybe between 60 and 70. Like, what are we projecting here for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? Why is he a supporting cast member?
I wouldn't put him higher than that. That's for sure. Last year he was getting 3 minutes and 38 on the 82.6% of power play time, and still only got 56 points on a power play that was number 1. When so
Yeah, he was on pace for 64 points for the
right?
year, which would put him kind of in that supporting cast.
in that supporting cast. And then I think the biggest problem with Nuge is that they always, is he a winger? Is he going to play center? Is he going to play a third line center? Is he going to play on the wing? He's always hippity hoppity hop on the lineup. So we never know if he's going to play top 6 or he's going to play third line centerman.
Well, RNH Jr., what can you tell me about him? Because I'm truly confused as what I should be expecting from RNH.
yeah, from a given year to the next, like you don't know. Like sometimes he was pacing for 100 points just like 2 years ago.
He scored 50, no?
So yeah, exactly. And he plays
Former 50 goal scorer.
He plays center. He plays wing. Is he going to be the left wing to McDavid with Hyman? The new coach. We're not sure how it's going to play out. But just under half of his assists last year were secondary assists. So out of 36, he had 15 secondary assists. That's easy, right? When you play with such skilled players like McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard, like when you're on that power play. So, like, if he loses that power play spot, just to clarify here, 29 points out of 56. That's more than half his points were on the power play. If by some chance he doesn't get 82% of the power play like he did last year, he might not be relevant.
So we're saying that Bouchard, Draisaitl, McDavid are guarantees on the power play, right? I would even probably lump in
Hyman for
Hyman
sure.
as a
Yeah, I
guarantee
think so.
on that. So now you only have one spot left. And that spot might be between Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Matt Savoie. Is Matt Savoie somebody that could jump onto that top power play for spurts or...
For spurts, I don't think right away. I think right away it's Nuge's place to have. But it's just, you know how we're joking, like Draisaitl and McDavid, they play a minute 59 of the power play. But if you just look at right now, the options on power play 2, it's Polkozin, Doc, Savoie, Ekholm, and Wallman. I mean, that PP1 is going to get the minute and 45 seconds. And I believe Nuge is going to be the first option. But the way Savoie ended his season last year, there's a good chance he can bump himself into that PP1.
So we said it, number one power play in the league. Are you really going to tinker with that?
Right. I
And-
mean, new coach, so you don't know.
But that's what worries me a little bit more for Savoie than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. New coach, young player, he's got to re-prove himself.
You better not have any pictures on that cell phone. That's all. Matt Savoie is one of our tier 4 streamers. We also have Matthias Ekholm, and I feel like this guy gets underlooked. And maybe now without having Nurse around, maybe Ekholm does take a little bit more of that secondary offensive side.
For sure. Well, he's partnered with Bouchard, right? So even 5-on-5, he has to obviously be the more responsible one. But when Bouchard's on the ice, there's either Draisaitl or McDavid that's on the ice also. So it'll help Ekholm in the points. I mean, like you said, it's not shabby. He got 41 points in 82 games. For a defenseman, it's not a bad count on points. But I do believe that he's 36. Once again, age has everything to do with progression of a player. But without Nurse there, he might get a bit more opportunity offensively. But I don't think, do you see him eclipsing the 40-point mark next year?
No, and with his age going up, and I don't think his minutes are necessarily going to go up, but somebody's going to have to replace that insane amount of ice time that Nurse had. Right? So they both had 20 minutes of ice time on average. Per game, so like that 20 minutes has to go somewhere. I just don't know if it's going to be at home, to be honest.
Guys, he's paced for 40 plus points in the last 3 years. I mean, with the Edmonton Oilers. So steady Eddie, he can probably do it again. Like again, he's playing with Bouchard. Bouchard probably plays at the same time as either McDavid or Draisaitl. Like, not to mention secondary assists again, but 21 of his 35 assists were secondary assists. When you play with talented guys like that, it doesn't take much to get points, right? And a point's a point. You don't care in fantasy if it's a secondary, primary. You really don't care. The beauty with Ekholm, though, is that he provides block shots. He had 125 block shots last year, so he gives you a bit of peripherals in those kind of leagues as well. And he's just under a hit per game as well. So,
do we think Jake Wallman has a chance to take some of that ice time that Nurse leaves behind?
I liked Wallman before the coaching change. I don't know if Wallman's going to be as efficient under Babcock. I think he's going to have a short leash with Babcock, especially at $7 million. This could be tough.
Okay, why do you say that?
He's just not super reliable defensively. He doesn't hit, like, he's not a Babcock type player. He doesn't block shot. He has like he's averaging about 2 blocks per game. But yeah, if something happens to Bouchard, I can see him. The reason I like him as a streamer is because I can see him getting that power play 1 if something does happen to Bouchard in terms of injury or whatnot. But I fear for Wallman. I don't know if he's rosterable, to be honest.
All right. Well, we don't really have any players to avoid here. So there's nobody in our tier 5. But we're going to actually move on to the next part of our rankings and projections. But before I do that, off to Junior to have a word from one of our sponsors.
It all comes down to this. Will the Edmonton Oilers be back in the Stanley Cup final next year? Only time will tell. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. Sweat every shift of the series all in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers sign up with code THPN, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
With DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, that text pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
All right. Now to talk about our projections for one of the most interesting goalie rooms in the NHL. We have the Edmonton Oilers goalies, and their situation is so interesting that I believe this is going to be the best segment of the episode. Frederik Andersen, the old veteran that just comes off a Stanley Cup and a Stanley Cup parade. This guy is so injury-riddled, unfortunately, in his past that he doesn't play that many games. Further to that, we have Tristan Jarry, who's barely an AHL goaltender most days, but somehow is going to get a third opportunity here to prove that he belongs in the NHL. And Devon Levi, who is somebody that Buffalo just, I guess, ran out of goalies because they have way too many goalies already. And they just couldn't afford putting him on waivers, which he is liable for. So they decided to trade him instead. Out of these three guys, do we see like a split or a 20-20-30? Something like that?
I don't see Edmonton going all season with 3 goalies. I don't think they could afford to go all season with 3 goalies. I think they need more depth. And right now, as one of the reserve players, they have a goalie. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, Buffalo went with 3 goalies.
It worked for them.
It worked for them. So, I don't know. So, either they don't go with 3 goalies because Anderson will get injured like he always does during the season, or Tristan Jarry just has a terrible, terrible outings consecutively that they send him down. Because they've tried to trade Jarry and there's no buyers right now.
Look, we could talk about Jarry's stats and why Jarry is really not good, but I kind of feel like it's known. But why don't you give me some stats here, Junior, and let me know why I shouldn't believe in him.
I'm just puzzled. Like, the only goalie that had a 50% quality start rate, the only goalie that had an under 3 goals against average, is the only goalie they didn't keep, Connor Ingram.
Still a free agent, by the way.
Yeah. Tristan Jarry had a goal save above expected of minus 1.4 between Edmonton and Pittsburgh. Quality starts was 39.4%.
That's horrible. You need to have that at least 55?
At least 50 to be respectable. 3.32 goals against average. It's brutal. 882 save percentage. And like, oh, you know what? Jarry's not that good. Let's go get him some help. Yeah, let's go get him a guy who had 874 save percentage and a 305 goals against average.
But he
won a cup. Give me a break, guys. Anderson hasn't been good in a couple of years already.
I mean,
and Carolina's system, Carolina's decor is not Edmonton's decor, and it's not Edmonton's system. I don't care that you're bringing Babcock in. This is brutal. I feel bad for Devon. I mean, hopefully Devon Levi can save the situation.
But that's it, right? Maybe Devon Levi is the answer in the end. We don't know, and this is the part of the part of the episode that we're trying to predict how this is going to go, how this team's going to go. Personally, we don't know. We have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. But who has the best chance of actually coming out of this? It might be Devon Levi. He might have the most talent out of everybody on this team, goaltending wise.
But does it not worry you at all? Like, out of the goalies that Buffalo kept, so Luukkonen, Ellis, and Lyon, Levi couldn't outproduce any of those three? Like, he's not better than any of those three? Like, why choose to get rid of Levi and keep those three? Is it because Levi won it out to a certain extent? I guess if he wasn't going to get an opportunity, but doesn't it worry you that he didn't get an opportunity against those three goalies?
And they just 3 days ago they just signed their top prospect goalie in Emil Vinny.
Who's this? Edmonton.
Edmonton. So does that say they have full trust in Levi? It's that whole crease has a huge question mark when it comes to the start of the season. But we all do believe like Anderson is their number one, or do you think they're going to go Jarry then Anderson?
Well, I think they're going to give first dibs to Anderson
Yeah.
to see how he does. But in the end, first dibs or not, doesn't really matter. It's how they perform. They're going to play the hot hand, and that's it.
I think it's a 1A, 1B. It has to be.
And 1C.
And 1C. Because Frederick Anderson, at 37 years old almost here, I don't know if he can play 50 games. I don't know if you want him to play 50 games.
No, he won't. He won't be able to do that.
But if they could split a 40, 40, 30, 10 or something like that,
Yeah.
it could work.
It's interesting to see how in redraft leagues, if any of these three goalies are taken.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Frederick Anderson is probably going to get drafted late as a flyer.
Especially in cap leagues, because he doesn't make much.
He doesn't make much in cap leagues, and if he gets the wins, then that helps, right? But statistically, it's a little bit scary as well. Moving on to the prospects in the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, about that.
And no, Junior, we will not skip the prospects because they do have a couple of guys that could be fantasy relevant, especially according to Dauber here. And Ike Howard is one of these guys, as well as who Vince mentioned, which is the goaltender Vinny. These guys, according to... Oh, and Devon Levi, if you want to call him a prospect. I don't know if you want to, but the upside of Ike Howard is 8.5 according to Dauber. Devon Levi is an 8.0 according to Dauber, and Emil Vinny is 7.0 with less NHL certainty. But still, those are the three guys. Other than that, I mean, Colton Dach, Lewandowski, isn't he a soccer player? Tommy Lafreniere, whatever. They're all players, but I don't think any of them are relevant now.
Or ever.
Ike Howard, though, according to Daily Faceoff, they have him in the top 6. But according to Puckpedia, they do not project him in the top 6. So is this one of the late round flyers, or are we only talking about these players in dynasty leagues and not redraft?
That's the tricky part. Again, we mentioned it earlier. New coach, younger players, they always have to prove themselves again. Ike Howard seemed to have started building a nice relationship there, a nice niche. And now it looks like he might have to do that all over again. So it'll be up to him, really, if he earns a spot. But Babcock likes his vets, man.
But both these players in dynasty leagues are keepers because there's just too much opportunity for them to get into the lineup. Whether it's Ike Howard, even if he starts on a third line and then pushes to the second, and even Vinny as a goalie. I mean, we spoke about these goalies. There's a chance he could be 20 game goalie, 30 game goalie on this team at some point. So in dynasty leagues, both these guys are keepers. But in redrafts league, I don't think any of these players get drafted in redraft leagues.
Well, we play redraft leagues, we play keeper leagues, we play dynasty leagues, and most of our leagues are cap leagues, just like our PBLL Pebble, which is our partial breakaway listener league. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pebble League is going to be starting up again soon, and we're going to start sending out some invites soon. So please feel free. Last year, we started off with a bang. We had some winners making
Vito P.
Vito P. He was actually very good
Yes.
at this league.
When he wasn't at the top to start, but once he hit the top, he never went lower than the top 3.
Yeah.
And he just smooth sailing all the way through. Very, very impressive.
Ladies and gentlemen, join our Pebble League. You could have as many teams as you want in our Pebble League. Just let us know if you want multiple teams or not, and we'll be very happy to start promoting it more and more because it's coming.
The cash prize was over $400, by the way.
US.
Canadian.
Okay. And we might have some thinkers in the league and the settings this year to make it a little bit more exciting.
Well, I thought it was exciting enough, but all right. One guy that nobody ever had a complaint about was Connor McDavid's salary. So for cap leagues, Connor McDavid's salary, according to us, 2 years left at $12.5 million is a very good salary. The guy could be making $20 million, and we're still going to say it's a very good salary. But 12.5, we have him here as good. Zach Hyman, 2 years, only $5 million for a 30-goal scorer. I mean, how rare is that? We have him as a good salary as well. Evan Bouchard, 3 years, $10.5 million for what, a 90-point defenseman?
20 goal scorer?
20 goal scoring?
Given.
Come on. This is a great contract.
I've come a long way with Bouchard, guys.
Yeah, you have.
I've come a long way.
Remember when you said that he wasn't a good player?
Yeah.
And
I said he wasn't a number one
he was a
defenseman.
number one defenseman.
Yeah. Then he
Until he
popped
proves
up.
it to me. yeah. He has to prove it to me first.
Well, he did, no?
He definitely
He
did.
definitely
You can
did.
thank me when he
Yeah,
goes into the Hall of Fame.
He listened to this podcast.
I went from not being good to the Hall of Fame.
And if I remember correctly, I think your bold prediction last year, Junior, was that Edmonton would not make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's bold for a reason.
It's that's
Cold.
some bold barbecue sauce. Trent Frederick. Trent Frederick is $3.85 million for 7 more years.
Jesus, Murphy.
That's a pretty bad contract. But I mean, it's only
Guys, but do you know why that's so bad?
why?
7 points in 74 games last year.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
So
but
that's,
And what planet did you think this guy was going to be serviceable at 3? Like,
But in his year 4 or 5 of the contract, fourth line players will be making this type of money, right?
yes, I mean you're absolutely right.
yeah, but you're hoping a fourth line player doesn't just get you 7 points.
Wow.
Let's see if Koivunen, who just signed a $4 million contract for Pittsburgh for 17,000 years, let's see how he gets. Okay, Tristan Jarry is another bad contract, 2 years at $5.75 million for a starter who's not going to be starting much.
I don't know how this management is still employed.
That's absolutely right. They should be taking advice from Junior, who said they didn't make the playoffs last year. Guys, okay, any comments about the cap league salaries for this team? Anybody that we should be looking at more? I mean, Savoie makes less than $1 million.
I'm going to save it for my Jeopardy and bold prediction.
Yes, we renamed our segment. The next segment,
Which is no longer a rapid fire.
that's right. It is no longer called a rapid fire question because that did not make any sense. This is a categories question, and the categories question is a Jeopardy's question. So let's start with Junior. Junior, what would you pick as a category today, and for how much money?
I'll take a late round flyer for Vasily Podkolzin.
All right.
I think he'll get the opportunity. He showed some good things with Draisaitl and Savoie last year. So and he's kind of a Babcock guy. He has some peripherals. He likes to hit a lot. So I feel like he's going to be in Babcock's good grace. Is that the expression? So I can see him actually
Getting opportunity.
being fantasy relevant this year.
All right. Vince.
I'll take draft if value drops Zach Hyman. A lot of people might skip on him because of last year's injury and the minimal games he played. But, I mean, this guy's going to be playing with the best player in the league on the first line, on the number one power play. I mean, if he drops to the 4th, 5th round, I think he's someone that needs to be picked up because he'll, even with his age, if he stays healthy, he'll give you those points that you need. So to me, the draft, if the value drops, it's Zach Hyman for me.
So I'm going to go with a late round flyer for $500.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go for Matt Savoie. And I think Matt Savoie is not going to be drafted as a late round flyer. I think he's going to go earlier than that. But I'll tell you why I'm impressed with Matt Savoie is the second half of the season. He had in the third quarter 12 points and in the last quarter another 12 points. He also had some power play time at the end of the year. I think that was because of an injury to Hyman, but he's the next up on the power play. So if one of those guys falters or falls, Matt Savoie is going to be there. And right there and then, you have somebody that could be fantasy relevant. His ice time, I think every single year since he started, his ice time has been going up. So, I mean, he only played 4 games the first year, but he had like 12 minutes time on ice. Then 82 games last year, 14 and a half time on ice, or close to 15 minutes time on ice. This is going to keep going up, in my opinion. And if it keeps going up, if Babcock puts him at 16 minutes of ice time, for example, because he is one of the younger players on the team and probably has a little bit fresher legs than some of the other guys, if he puts him at 15 minutes or 16 minutes of ice, now we're seeing even more production coming out.
Well, to your point, the last quarter of the season when he was playing 17 minutes a game,
That's what
he
I'm
got
saying.
8 goals, 4 assists.
Yeah, so to me, if he keeps getting that ice time, I'm not saying he's going to start off at 17 minutes, but if he continues that trend that he started last year, I think that's where you're going to see Matt Savoie start taking off slowly.
If
And it's a sophomore season,
Yeah.
so, I mean, we'll see.
But if Savoie and Pokolzin can keep the chemistry going with Draisaitl like they did at the end of the year, this could be the secondary scoring that Edmonton really needs to really be pushed up into the cup contenders.
Yeah, I agree completely. Okay, one bold prediction. Let's do this fast, because we're already past the time. I love talking Edmonton, but what's our bold prediction this year? Is Edmonton making the playoffs, Junior?
I'm going to stay away from that one, but I'm going to double down on Vasily Podkolzin. He ended the year last year with 19 goals. He's going to end this year with 30 goals.
All right. Vince, your bold prediction for the Edmonton Oilers.
Devon Levi becomes the number 1 goalie 20 games in.
It's not even that bold.
I think it's a bit bold.
I don't know. I'm going to go with one bold prediction as well. And that final bold prediction is the fact that Matt Savoie will have 55 points this year. Last year, he only had 37, ladies and gentlemen. I think he goes into the 50s this year. Last year, my bold prediction was that Draisaitl would hit 65 goals. He didn't do that.
He hit 65 games.
See, I just misspoke last time. The 65 G's was not goals, it was games.
It was cash, an hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye out for our posts about Pebble League, as it will be coming out. Big thank you to our sponsors one last time, Sportira, ANC Photo Booths, and Patisserie Boulangerie Italia. Please leave a comment, like and subscribe, join the conversation. Let us know what you think the Edmonton Oilers will do this year, 2026-27.
And if we're out to lunch with some of these bold predictions.
Let us know. Have a good night, peeps.
Oh my God, I had a really good
Dad joke?
dad joke that I was gonna say, and it's really late at night, so I don't remember it. I'm gonna try it on the next episode. Okay, I'm gonna find it again.